Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Duggars, Diggers, Moss Hunters, and Moss Honeys of all ages. Today, we're going to do a great thing today, and that great thing is talk about the last monster that was in any of the Monster Hunter World betas, and do not say Nergante, because we're not going to talk about that guy right now. I mean, he's much later. Let me get this victory here, because I really want to get you guys like newer monster. I want you guys to see all the new guys, but we got to push through these old guys first. Anyway, Anjanath, Andrew, okay, my man Andrew. All right, shout out to the homeboy Andrew. He's a cool guy. He plays saxophone really well. But Andrew or Anju or Snoz Joe or Nose Joe or whatever you like to call him, I'm calling him Andrew. I call him Andrew now. His nickname is Andrew, guys. Call him Andrew. Call him Andrew. Make me feel, just the next time you talk to somebody, hey, have you fought the Anjanath? Be like, hey, I haven't quite actually got around to fighting Andrew yet, or yeah, I just made that Andrew armor. Just say Andrew just once. Just say it once for me, please. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Now, Anjanath, let me tell you something. He is the gatekeeper. Okay, I'm not gonna say I got bodied. I did. Needless to say, the video before this one, literally the video right before this one, was a terrible run. I mean, I was still getting it in. But 23 minutes in, right when he was about to right when he was about to die, I made a mistake and I got hit with the flame breath. And I'm wearing Tobi Kadachi, no fire resistance, bro. I burnt up crispy like, okay, and it was a hard cart. And I was a little salty, so I didn't want to continue the video. It was like a 23-minute video already, so I just canceled it and just started up a new one. And here we are today with this particular video, the newer one. That's why you don't see any cutscenes or anything like that, because a lot of times, guys, the newer monsters you have to fight, they don't explicitly say that, hey, we're gonna go fight this guy. So I don't know what cutscene. I don't know if I should record this one or not or whatever. So that's why if you're wondering why are there no cutscenes, it's because I never know which ones is what. Now, actually, as I speak right now, I have my Xbox playthrough, my PlayStation playthrough at the same foot. So from here on out, not just from here on out, but from where I'm speaking, where I am in the game on out, you will see the cutscenes. So at that out the way, let's talk about Andrew though. Okay, so Andrew, he's tough. He, like I said before, he's the gatekeeper. He's gonna be the wall for a lot of people, and I actually admit I will not be surprised if I see a lot of newer players who are either new from just this game alone, or not very, who kind of played before, kind of casually, but figure the game to be kind of weird and whatever. I figure that a lot of people will probably get to this guy, be unable to be able to beat him themselves, and then they potentially drop in the game. Now, granted, there are SOS flares and things like that, so if you really are having a hard time fighting this guy, don't give up, guys. Hunker down, find your inner gamer, pop that SOS flare, and get some help. Or you can listen to my video and get some help. So, here we are. Let's get you guys some of that help. First thing you're going to want to know is that he is a brute wyvern. Brute wyverns have a tendency to actually be very aggressive. There's a couple of the wyverns out there who are as aggressive as a brute wyvern, but as it stands, brute wyverns are innately aggressive. So they were going to come for them cheeks consistently. They're going to they usually tend to throw their weight around, so to speak. So a lot of times you'll see Andrew charge at you. Now he has a couple of charging attacks. Now the one charging attack you should definitely pay note to is that he'll throw his head on the ground and charge you for a short distance, and then after that he'll charge again for a much longer distance. This is actually a two-hitting attack. So if you are blocking for whatever reason, so you have a lance or a gun lance or a greatsword, any kind of weapon that allows you to block, hold that block button until both of those attacks come out. You are going to suffer quite a bit of chip damage, but if you get hit with that second attack for free, that is guaranteed at least 60, almost 70% of your health bar every single time if you're at full capacity. So you really have to watch to see what his attacks are like. Now, another thing that makes him a bit annoying to actually fight is he can actually do fire. He spits fire. He spits that hot fuego stuff. Shout out to my phone there. I didn't know it was actually not on mute, but we're gonna keep this going because whatever. Now he can actually sneeze. I know it sounds weird. He can sneeze fire and he can breathe fire. Now him sneezing fire has a bigger window. It doesn't necessarily hit as often because the angle on it's a bit weird, but his fire breath is actually very, very, very potent. But you can really see him when he's about to do it because he will have lots of fire coming from his mouth. Normally, whenever you see him start bringing out the fire from his mouth, you kind of want to stay away from the front part of his body because those attacks hurt a lot. Okay, so you're really gonna want to watch out for that. Now, those attacks you should totally watch out for. Those are his hardest hitting attacks. All those other attacks you're probably gonna get hit with, whatever, but they're not really too bad. Again, he has a hip check, so you can just watch out for those. I mean, you can see it coming from a mile away. But what you're gonna really want to do is when you come to fight this guy, you're gonna want to come in very prepared. What I mean is you're gonna first want to come in with your potions, your mega potions, things like that, and you want to come in with a measure of traps and bombs. You're gonna have to actually probably work a little bit to make the bombs, because as it stands right here in the game, I'm not sure if you can actually purchase them from the provision guy yet. But if not, take you some fire herb and take you some, I forget the other one. Actually, I think it's just fire herb, and then you can convert that into gunpowder. From gunpowder, we'll take gunpowder in large barrels to make barrel bombs. You're gonna need that. Now, bring you some shock traps as well. Anything, just bring it all and lay it down as you can. I mean, I kind of do the same thing here because I'm trying to get a better time, but you're gonna want to overly prepare yourself to actually fight this guy. If you can fight him where there's an area, like in this particular area where there are paratoads, utilize the paratoads, utilize the environment around you, so that way you can actually take advantage of everything it actually has to offer. Because like I said, he's not an easy fight. I mean, he's seriously not an easy fight. Even for me, a 1,000-year veteran, I ain't struggle, you know what I mean? But I mean, he didn't just fall over for you, boy, if you know what I'm saying. So you're gonna want to overly prepare yourself for this guy. Bring as much as you can. And definitely want to stay away from the front end of his body, because really that's where all the damage actually comes from. His nasal cavity, once it actually protrudes rather to the top of his head, is when he's actually in full-on rage mode. Between that and his vestigial wings that pop up from his back is a sure sign to let you know that you do not want to mess with when it comes to the front half. So you want to actually relegate most of your attacks and all of your other positioning to the back. Also, remember that if he actually starts to flare up fire from his mouth and things like that, you're gonna want to stay away from his front there as well. One last attack I actually want to talk about is his pinning attack. Now, changed from this game before is the pinning attacks. Before, pinning attacks would happen automatically. The monster would do his attack, you'd be pinned, you have to mash buttons to get out of it. And this time that's not necessarily the case. He will actually do it's like a biting attack that has a lot of wind up. You can kind of see it if you're facing him directly, but he'll do his attack, has a lot of wind up, and then he'll grab you with his mouth. He'll like toss you a bit in the air and then slam you back on the ground. It doesn't really do any real damage. I mean, it's only like a small amount of damage. The kicker to this is that once he slams you back on the ground, your hunter just stands there laying on the ground looking up at the monster helplessly, waiting for I guess the animation or the recovery to wear off. Now, once you're in this particular mode, you want to mash dodge or roll in either the left or the right direction, so that way you stay away from the attack. Because you are able to act, I believe, maybe a second, maybe two at best, seconds before Anjanath or Andrew rather is actually able to actually bite you or something like that. So for the most part, it's an easy way to get out of the pinning attacks, but sometimes, not all the time, kind of rare, Andrew will actually do the pinning attack, slam back on the ground, and immediately breathe fire on you. And there's nothing you can do about that because you couldn't press a button. It's just immediate. So it's not something that happens all the time. It happened to me like maybe twice. So it's a thing. It's a thing. It's not a super common thing, but it's a potential thing. So watch out for his pinning attack. And then for the most part, you should be pretty decent when it comes to that. So when I said before about using the environment, I would highly recommend you guys actually use the paratoads and the vines and mounting the monsters as often as you can. Make it into where he doesn't actually attack as often is your greatest and best bet actually fighting and beating this guy. So with those general tips and things like that out of the way, I will move over and we can start talking about some of this gear, because truth be told, his gear is actually very, very good, and a lot of times you'll probably find a lot of people hunting this monster online trying to get it. So as it stands, the Anjanath's gear is actually very, very good. It has what's known as a set ability or set bonus skill, where if you have X amount of pieces of armor from this particular monster worn, you get a free ability, and this particular ability is adrenaline. Now this adrenaline does not work like it used to work back in the day, because back in the day, once your health got to a certain level, your attack and defense greatly increased. This time around, it just reduces the stamina depletion that you already have. So I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it's free, it's whatever, but that's adrenaline. Your next skill is fire resistance, which we discussed with the thunder resistance. That is just, you know, +6 to thunder, or excuse me, +6 to fire in this case, and then eventually increase your defense as well. Same with the fire attack, gives you a +30 to all fire weapons, of course, and if you're going to be using an Anjanath weapon, you're going to see that effect happen immediately, so that's good. Now, special ammo boost. This is good. This is good. This is people who actually use the bow gun and things like that. Increases the power of bow gun, special ammo, and dragon pierce excuse me, Dragon Pierce So if you're using a heavy bow gun, a lot of people like to use a heavy bow gun with the, I forget exactly what it's called, but like the machine gun fire where it's like, you know what I'm talking about. Increase the damage on that, so it's really good. And it only comes with two tiers, so you're gonna get a pretty decent chunk of this particular skill working for you right off the jump. So that's really, really good. Another one is artillery. Now this skill is something that your boy would like to really, really look into. Now it strengthens the explosive attacks like gun lance shots, weapons fire, charge blade file attacks, and sticky ammo. That's a lot of bonus damage right there. So for me, I'm a gun lance teacher, so that's gonna help me out immensely. One thing I did notice is it has 3 tiers. Now the usual artillery joint also has 3 tiers. You have artillery novice, expert, and god. So in this game, I would like to think that they did the same exact thing: novice, expert, and god. So level 1 is novice, level 2 expert, level 3 god. So it increases the attack of all these explosive things, and also if you're using the gun lance, it cools your weapon fire down by 15% right off the jump, and then 30, then by 50, because it takes about, I think, 3 minutes for the weapon fire to actually cool back down so that we can use it again. This lessens that. Now finally, we're looking at Marathon Runner, which decreases the reduces the continuous stamina depletion by sprinting by 15%, which is good, like we said before. So his skills are actually pretty good. They're not the greatest skills in the entire world, but they're really good. They're really good. This early on, you can totally actually use the effects of these skills to make bigger and better armor, or even mix and match them so we can come out with the set that you really like to actually use. Because I myself am actually using a mix set of this particular monster. I will not tell you the set just yet because we're not quite there, because I'll be giving out spoilers and I don't want to do that for you guys. So moving to his weapons. His weapons are actually pretty good. Fairly nice fire weapons. For the most part, they have a negative effect to the affinity, -20. So if you guys remember what I said about the Barrett armor, or excuse me, the Barrett weapons back in the day, where they have high attack, low affinity, same exact deal. This time they also have fire. And truth be told, honestly, if they're really good fire weapons, they're your first fire weapons that you get in the game. So I would actually recommend you kind of use those whenever you can, especially if you're going to going to go up against a monster who is susceptible to that of fire. So that way you'll be in very good hands. But other than that, that's pretty much his gear. His gear is actually very solid, like I said before. Good stuff, good armor, has nice defense. Weapons are really solid too. Put a lot of damage down on a monster with it. Yes, you have a -2 affinity, but it's really not that big of a deal. I think -20 is the lowest of the negative affinity I will go with. That's still relatively usable. I mean, you could still get by with -20 affinity because your attack is so much higher. Your attack is actually, for this gun lance, is 299, and gun lances that's in the same categories that I want to say it's like 253 or maybe 276, something like that. So I mean, it's a full tier higher in terms of the attack. You just lose out a little bit of the affinity, but it's not that big of a deal. I actually still think it's really worthwhile, worth checking out. So if you ever get a chance to make it his armors, his weapons, go for it. Good stuff. So with all that being said, I know this video is actually very long. I mean, I talked for as long as I possibly could without actually rambling on too much, because once you ramble things on it, the video, no one really cares anymore. But again, I will reiterate once more that he is a gatekeeper for sure. Definitely a serious leap in difficulty when it comes to monsters between this guy and Toby Kadachi, who was literally just the one before. And dead serious, not gonna lie to you guys, the very next monster fight after him, a lot easier, a heck of a lot easier than this guy. Kind of weird how they do that, but yo, that's just how the game works. That's how monster always kind of works. It's always been that gatekeeper monster. But yes, everyone, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today when it comes to the Anjanath, or Andrew, if you will. I mean, just play it safe. Bring everything with you, prepare yourself, and watch out for his attacks. Understand what he's going to do. Honestly, you might not beat him in your first try or whatever, or maybe you might cart two times or whatnot, but you need to actually see what he can do, and then understand what those attacks can look like before they actually come out. Recognize rather the tells, and then capitalize on that. So, but with that being said, that's pretty much everything I have for you guys right here. I mean, he is limping, I think, but one thing I hate about this guy is that the area he limps to, he is definitely at home there. I mean, everything he does causes like a tremor, and it screws up all your stuff. Okay, so it's tough to fight him where he sleeps because he's annoying. But yes, it's been your boy Dak Noway, aka the Dig Dug himself. Please watch the rest of the video and tell me if you like the content that I kind of gave you. Not the content, but the tips and things that I gave you in the video. If they help, let me know, because I mean, he's a tough monster and I kind of just want to help everybody out the best way I can. But it's been your boy, guys. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Take care.